I am here today with Ace Kipton and Orpheus Black, and we are going to be doing some Q&A about an upcoming event that we are all very excited about called Kinkbound that's happening in October, the 10th, 11th, and 12th in Loveland, Colorado. So I'm going to be acting as the panel host today. And so I get the pleasure of asking these two gentlemen lots of questions. So the first thing I want to start with is just what is this event? What is Kinkbound?
Ace.
Yeah, I'll jump in. So, Kinkbound is an event in Loveland, Colorado, and it's meant for people who are interested in kink who may never have explored it before, and also for people who are kinksters and they live this dynamic 24/7. And so Friday night is going to be an event actually that is for mostly local people. It's a couple hours where we drop into a container together. We talk about full expression of who we are and what does it look like to actually explore our edges and create more capacity and range in the way that we interact with other people, in the way that we play with other people. And also, Friday night is an opportunity that is like once in a lifetime because Orpheus is actually going to be doing demos. And so we actually get to see an expert who's been doing this for 25 years live on the stage, and it's going to be really fun. And so, Orpheus, actually, I'd like to pass it off to you. What will that kind of look like? What can people expect? What can they see on that Friday night with you as the master in the room?
Wow, thank you for dishing it off. I think this question is always interesting because for me, it's really about exploring the intersection of my partner's desire, really having a understanding of who that person is on a primal level, because that's really what kink is. It's an opportunity to explore the depth of their own psychology, the depth of their own body, the depth of and breadth of actually who they are as a human being in that moment. And for me, demonstrating that exploration, the exploration that I have and the exploration that the audience can have unlocks potentials that they may have never actually thought about. Everybody has an idea kink looks like this or kink looks like that, right? It looks like whatever it is in that moment, right? So whatever we engage in, whether it's fire play, knife play, bondage, suspension, whatever it is, it'll be something that will probably never ever be reproduced again, right? It is a one-off because I and that person can never be those people again, right? Like you can never step in the same stream twice, right? So having the opportunity to relearn or to, depending on who I'm playing with, right? Or to be introduced to someone in that moment is great. And the other thing that I think people are going to get an opportunity to see is how to not only connect, disconnect, and reconnect with a person, but actually to not take your partner for granted. Because a lot of people think, oh, I've been dating the same person a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But no, every night you're a different person, right? And the techniques that we will demonstrate are opportunities to not take your partner for granted, not take yourself for granted, but to be wholly present in the room, feeding off the energy, transmuting that energy into something sensual, sexual, and delicious.
Yeah, that's so good. And what I've noticed about Kinkbound and what we're going to do, it's so unique because I've been to so many different kink events here in the Boulder, Northern Colorado area. And sometimes the people have expertise. Sometimes they'll flat out say, yeah, I'm not an expert. I haven't gotten any qualifications or certifications in this, but I'm doing this and I'm doing it right. And it's like, oh, hold on a second. Like, I don't know if I'm learning from the right person. Would you be willing to talk about a little bit your perspective on that? And then also like your qualifications and how long you've been doing this and just kind of let our audience know a little bit about you.
Yeah, yeah. About that, here's the thing. The community at large is just a cross section of what our society is. And most people in general would much rather have something that they believe kink to be, not what kink is. So as long as you look like a professional and present as a professional and you look like you have experience and you present as if you have experience, that's enough for most people, because the people who have actually taken the time to make this their life's passion and career, to spend their hard earned money and time to have growth and development in this area often don't look like the aesthetic. They don't look like the norm. They don't look like the ideal archetype of what a dominant or a submissive is, or someone who would be educating in this area. Sometimes it's a 50-year-old black guy in Buddhist clothing presenting. And honestly, that doesn't actually fit the norm. And here's another thing. When I'm working with BIPOC and other people of color, I often in class will say, okay, what I want you to do is close your eyes and imagine the hottest scene you've ever seen. I want you to think in porn, in kink. I want you to think of the hottest scene you've ever seen, right? And say, now, how many people are black or brown? How many people are gay or trans, right? How many people are on the spectrum? And realize like no one in that room has ever really seen that, right? And so oftentimes what we think is kinky, what we think is the ideal is more important than finding a qualified, educated person who is going to take you on that journey. We have to remember that kink itself is not like sex. It's not like intercourse. You can be hurt and harmed in different ways, right? Psychologically, emotionally, so on and so forth. And so what we base our decision, who we are trying to be educated by, is important, because if one person teaches you a method that is dangerous, it increases the likelihood that you're going to either be harmed or harm someone else, right? So personally, I was mentored for 20 years of my life, by my mentor, who is really a luminary in the field. And we have a legacy that extends back probably in total, we have maybe in total 300 years of freaking kink, because my mentor has been doing it for almost 40 years. His mentor was doing it for about 45 years. And another member of our illustrious group who is world renowned, has been doing it probably about the same amount of time. And so not only did I get to study with my mentor, but my mentor's mentor and and his mentor, right? So you get that hands-on lived experience, not just the education, but an opportunity to explore. And in that, I'm also a 3-time leather title holder. I have a 3-time AVN nominated performer, 3-time Urban X Award nominated performer. I've got 3 Lifetime Achievement Awards. Yeah, I got 3 Masters caps. 3 tends to be the number, I guess. And so for me, I think I may be going for one more leather title. I don't know. I don't know. But I've also I was also graduated from UCLA's Behavioral Health Support Specialist course. Um, as well. So, my background's pretty extensive. I've also done almost every avenue of sex industries, even including sex work. So I have like 30 to 35 years of just being in the sex work field, period. So for me, I've done every avenue of sex and sexuality, right? So I hope that people come out and take advantage of that knowledge. I hope that wasn't too long too. It felt like a rant.
No,
Great.
it was so good. It was so good. And one of the things that I love is you are sought after. Like, you've been on OWN, you went to DomCom, like, you are seen as an expert and known as an expert and trusted in the field. You're not just somebody that we're bringing in that we're saying, oh, yeah, look at this person. They do a great thing. No, like, you have the following behind you so that people can trust and know that they're being held in a container with someone who knows what they're doing and has done this for years.
I also think it's a benefit, and I think it's also to my detriment. To be honest, if we're really being honest, like the more qualification that you get, I think the more mainstream it feels to people. Right? It's like they're like, "Well, you're just a teacher, right? You're not kinky. You should be a college campus somewhere." You know what I mean? Like something like that. But no, my literal specialty is polyamory and kink, and really just working with people from an alternative sexual space. And I think sometimes people do go, oh, I don't know if I want the education as much as I want the erotic persona.
Mm,
I want validation through association. I want to do something that's fun and exciting and sexy, but I don't know that I want to go to school. I don't know if I want to be educated, and that's a big problem, right? So why would you find a teacher if you're not ready to learn? right? So again, if a person is ready to really learn, if they're really ready to transcend, if they're really ready to go into this next space, they find me, right? I hate the, people in my community. I'm one of the oldest people here now. You know what I mean? I'm like the old guy in the room. You know what I mean? Like, I just headlined another big party, and I'm still doing shows. I'm still going on television. I'm still doing radio shows. I'm still doing, going on movie sets and talking to them about kink. I'm still coaching people. I literally do this every day of my life. There's no moment that I'm not doing it. I'm not a person that does it once a month or once every few months. This is every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
You're not old, you're a sage.
Yeah. Or there's a light Bettina.
Right. I love it. Thank you. One of the questions that I've been getting about the event is we talked about what to expect on Friday night at the gathering. Can you talk a little bit more about what to expect for the immersion for Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah. I have a nice structure. I like to say a loose structure too, because again, I'm going to be vibing on the people in the room. So I have a structure, but I really want to work with people with what they want to learn too. So it's not just flogging, but it's how you flog. It's not just spanking, it's how you spank. These are all acts of self-expression, right? Radical self-expression. I want a person to think of not a flogger as an instrument of sexuality, but a paintbrush, right? Doesn't The paintbrushes are all the same. The artist is different. So what people are going to learn is how to express themselves erotically, right? So we're going to talk about consent. Yes. We're going to talk about negotiation. Yes. We're going to do safe words. Yes. But I want to know what intimacy looks like as expressed through your body, as expressed through your mind, as expressed through your being, right? We're going to talk about fire play, and we're going to do bondage. But what does it look like coming from your body, your background, your mind, your narrative, the way you see yourself filtered through your gender? Right? Everyone is a unique prism of experiences, of traumas, right? Of behaviors. And so, what we are going to do more than anything else is to help them radically express themselves erotically, right? And to me, that's really the biggest thing. And so, yes, we're going to do all the things that all the clubs do, and we're going to do it at the highest level. And this also means that if you are a person who has zero skill, we're going to give you some. And if you're a person with very high skills, we're going to take you that level. One of the things that I run into when I go to these type of events is there's rarely someone there who are going to sharpen my skills. They're going to take me to that next level. When you're the best flogger in your community, who do you go to get better? Right? This is your opportunity to start from zero or start from 100. There's always another level. And so we're going to talk about, deep and meaningful connection. We're going to talk about going deeper into scene dynamics and how to create the type of scenes that you're looking for. To me, that's what I really want. That's what gets me going. That's my passion, scene dynamics. And if we have time, we'll just go into a few different places because hell, it's an immersion and I'm like on the clock and I freaking love it. So I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
Definitely. Definitely. I'm excited to meet you, Amanda.
Yeah, it's m past time. I think
Pat.
we've been in the same rooms, but haven't really had a chance to get to know each other, so that'll change this event.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm also excited to reconnect with some of the demo bombs. I've done some of the best scenes with some of the people who are attending this event. And I rarely get to see them except for when I come to Colorado. And I think I'm not too sure, but I've been kind of notified that there may be one of my old play partners coming out. I'm not too sure, and she's pretty popular. She's pretty famous, and I'm not gonna say her name, but someone told me last night that she's contemplating it. In confidentiality. So, if she comes out, oh, we do some amazing scenes together, and I'm actually excited. I'm like over here rubbing my hands, like because she doesn't play out in public anymore. So this would be a big honor for me that she's going to kind of come out of hiding and not just be teaching courses, but just participate in our container.
We're in for a treat.
Yeah,
That'd be so
if
good.
she comes, I hope she sees this. So if she comes, it's gonna be great.
This is her like chance to step into it because now you've set the stage for her. So this is
Oh
great.
yeah, oh yeah. It's just a little pressure, not a lot, just a little bit.
Orpheus, I'd actually love to talk about what it's like to see you in doing your work. So I was in LA for the first time when I saw you, and my jaw literally hit the ground
Mm.
because, I mean, obviously I was a newbie at this and I was like, what am I seeing? But also, you have an ability to bring eroticism into the space that is just so hot and juicy. And it's like, I can't believe I have a front row seat to see this.
Mm.
One of the things that I've noticed here in the Colorado area is there's a lot of people that do fire play. And I'm not going to go into how they do it versus how you do it, but I would love for you to explain what does it look like for someone to watch you do fire play? Like what are some of the things that they might get from this that they're not going to get from anybody else?
Okay, I was like, how is it? I'm like, I don't know what it's like to watch me. Here's the thing that I'll tell you about fire play. If you go back, if you do like 6 degrees of separation, all fire play roads leads to me. And I'm just going to be honest with you because I'm the person who created it. If you look at those black carbon felt torches, I made that. Yeah, I was the first person to do that. I was the only person that sold those torches. If you look at people who are doing fire painting, that's something I created. So when it comes to fire play, the erotic contact fire where you're using a wand, that is pretty much my invention. And so for me, I like to remind people that because no matter how much you've learned, it's a distillation process. It's a copy of a copy of a copy. So if you do get an opportunity to come and do fire play with me, you'll see how it was done originally. And there's many different variations. It's spun off. It's like martial arts, right? It's like there was one and then there became many. So it's the same thing. Come back to the source and learn what it's like. Understand what the different fuels are like. Understand what contact fire is. Understand what trailing is. Understand the languaging of it. If you really want to drop in and learn how to do it safely, right? Where you're not, and this is absolutely true, where you're not burning down things because someone burned a very expensive boutique hotel. Their their band room burned it down. Oh, and there's another person who lit curtains on fire at a public facility. What's the likelihood that's going to happen? Low. But when it does, people go, well, who trained you? Where did you learn? Who worked with you? Or if you burn someone, then this is where your certificates or your thing comes into play because people want you to justify your actions, right? So, in my opinion, this is an opportunity for people to really step into something that they're passionate about and learn the fundamentals, the basics, and then learn the flash, then learn the flare, right? I saw a person last night just walking around with the torch near the person's face. I'm like, why are you burning fire right up against this person? And I saw a little bit of hair catch, but it was fine. But why even take that chance? And we could all say, oh, well, that's just a one-off where that person doesn't know what they're doing. Most people don't know what they're doing. Most people are learning on you, not learning with you or learning from someone. They're doing on-the-job training at your expense. And so it's really good for both bottoms to learn what fireplace is and how it should be done, as well as top. Lastly, to me, I do erotic fire play. I don't do it for any pain. It is an extension of my sexuality. I want my needs, my desires, my longings, my cravings, right? And so knowing how to translate your desires into languaging that the other person sent to is another thing that I really want, right? That's what we're going to go to because most people say we're going to do fire. What does that mean? And what is the sub's responsibility in that scene? And how are they supposed to feel? What is it going to be like? Right? Consent is only consent when a person says this is what's going to happen and you articulate this, and this. They have to consent to each stage, right? It's like autographing, like initialing each little line in a contract. That's consent. It's not a generalization or a ball, right? That's why it's so hard to talk about a scene, because I can talk to my sub about a scene a week out, and then we get there that day, and now their desire has changed, their anxiety has changed. So we have to go back into that container and initial every little aspect that we can, so that they can have informed consent, right? And fire play is really hard because there's three people in that scene: you, the sub, and the fire. So I think that as we go deeper into the fire play, because that's one of my favorite things to do, we're going to learn all those nuances. We're not just going to learn technique. We're not going to learn just like safety. We're not going to learn how to and get some hands on. We're actually going to take some time to understand what it means to bottom and top from the standpoint of fire.
This is good. I think it's important that people understand what to expect and what they're going to get. And I don't think we can do that in short answer. So I appreciate the depth. So, one of the things about the immersion portion of our event is we also have capped how many people can be there. So, Ace, can you talk a little bit more about the importance of having a container around that and why we're choosing to not just like sell as many tickets as possible?
Yeah. So we really desire an intimate space for all of us to exist. And the larger the room, the lesser opportunity for that to happen. And so we really want people to get to know each other, to build community, and also get some really good time. If it's with Orpheus training and teaching and demoing, if it's with me and some of the things that I might be presenting, or Connie or yourself, Amanda, we really want to create a community where people can explore full expression of themselves. And in order to do that, it's just really hard to do once you get a larger group. So that's the reason why we set a limit on the amount of tickets that we're going to sell.
I can't wait to be in Ace's class.
It's going to
I'm
be
gonna be
pretty
sitting there front
juicy.
row center. I'm gonna be front row center. I know. I'm gonna sit right there. I'm coming in. I want to watch the action. I want to see this legend in the making.
Well, I learned from the best, Orpheus Black. So, it's going to be pretty good.
Thank you so thank you so much. I think that this is going to be a great opportunity also for me to learn, because, you guys do an avenue of this that I don't do. So, this body work. I mean, I do a type of body work, but but you guys do this other type of body work. So I'm definitely going to be very excited to watch you do this. The other thing that I think is very underrated is the people who are really seasoned in kink are very interested in watching how other people teach. The transmission of information is just as important as the information that you have, because if no one will listen, then it doesn't matter how good your stuff is. You have to be informative, but you also have to have a delivery mechanism that people can really accept. You got to be like the UPS of kink. All the packages got to be there and on time in the way that person wants to receive it. So I love watching other people teach. I love getting all these things. You know, like a very few people. When I teach a flogging class, it's just about energy transfer, but not this kind of mystical energy, but literally transferring power up through your body into the flogger and into the person. And a lot of people have never done that before, right? But how do you take something that is pure technique, pure energy transfer, and then make it erotic? That's the other thing that's different. And so for me, I love teaching that class, and most people have never ever really thought about that type of thing. But I learned it from being a martial artist of 42 years, right? I learned it from teachers who talk about how to translate energy through a sword, through a stick, through a knife, through, all these things. It's translation of energy through the body into a medium, into a person. So again, after doing this 40 something years and being a striking coach and having a guruship in Lameko and understanding that, I also understand how it plays into the erotic narrative of this, right? So that's going to be another thing that I think is going to be very informative. Like, people don't go into that. And that's something that I love to teach. The spiritual narrative is going to be something we also go into. Like, what does spirituality look like in sexuality? Right. So these are a little philosophical cues that we're going to be popping up as we go through this exploration.
And I want to circle back to something that you said earlier. I learned how to do this through studying with you and studying with Connie And it's basically been like osmosis, right? Of me experiencing it, me embodying it, me getting a felt sense of what this feels like for me in my body. And then I can go out and provide the service for others. And in this process, what I really learned was presence and attunement and how to
Mm.
actually read the room, read the person that's in front of me, and meet them in that space. And that's another reason why we have such a small container for this intimate event is we really want people to be able to drop in fully present, fully attuned, and devoted to themselves in this experience and really learning and up leveling their skill sets.
Absolutely. You know what it feels like, and I'm just going to be very honest. When there are droves of people who have been educated, who have been mentored, who have studied, put themselves in the community as a presenter or an educator, and someone else gets that same opportunity without that, it feels like they took cuts in line. You know what I mean? Like they jumped ahead in the queue, right? And it's like, whoa, wait, what gave you the right to be this far in the queue right now? Like, who of us who have gone through this tradition of mentorship, this legacy of learning, and just kind of jumped ahead in the queue? And that's a bit of a thing because then it becomes just a popularity contest. You know, you have the look, you have the feel, you have the aesthetic, you have the culture that is aligned with the offering, right? But it doesn't mean you have the knowledge. And our audience doesn't know the difference. And sometimes, and I'm not saying all the times, but sometimes they're just con men. You know, we see that with a lot of mistresses. It's like there's some mistresses who are very well trained, you know, years of experience, but because someone is young, they look good in the clothing, they get the courses, they get the classes, they get the money because people want to believe that because they look like that, they have the knowledge that they're looking for, right? And unfortunately, and some people have the complexion for the connection, you know, that's another thing. Right. So, you know, the closer you look to Betty Page, especially in Los Angeles, the more likely people are going to take you as a serious dominatrix. You have dark hair, pale skin, bangs, right? You know, little waist, big breasts, hips. But there's so many skilled dominatrixes that don't look like that don't get the opportunity, right? Or they're trans, or they're on the spectrum, or there's some. It doesn't mean that they don't have the qualifications. It just means that they don't have the look. And just because a person has the look doesn't mean they have the qualifications, right? So it's really important that people who want to learn, who want to be educated, take the time to really delve deep and look at a person's, especially legacy is something hard to say now, but look at a person's legacy, their pedigree, right? Not only what awards they have, but who gave them those awards, right? Not only where they came, but who is the foundation for the communities that they are part of, right? So, you know, I've been to a place where, you know, the person that was holding the trans inclusion place, the trans inclusion conversation was anti-trans. Why are you holding this container? It's not a safe space for anyone, right? So again, we have to kind of use our, excuse my language, our bullshitometer and really step in because, you know, just because one person stepped in, it doesn't mean you have to.
So, one of the things that I'm most passionate about in general in the work I've been doing and with Kinkbound, this event, is our ability to hold safe container. Because I feel like it's one of the things that people often say, but they don't know how to do. And I know without a doubt that we know how to do that. And so that is really important to me. And I think it's really important for people who are coming or thinking of joining us to understand the amount of thought, energy, detail, and care that we are putting into making this event the type of event where you can come in and expand because you're safe to do so, because we are holding the container, because we have the skills to do that. We have the experience in doing that. And I'm not talking about a liability form that you sign. I'm talking feels like to be in the room, what it feels like to have people that we've brought on team who are skilled and practiced in doing this present. And it's beyond just the four of us that are really setting this up. Like we've brought other people in on team to help create that. So if you are coming to this event and you aren't bringing a partner, you're not going to have to do everything solo. You're not also are not going to feel like an outsider because you're new to this, or because you haven't seen this before, or because you're queer. And so it's really beautiful to me. It's like makes my heart happy to know that we're creating not just a really incredible opportunity for people to come in and experience kink, experience Orpheus, but to also do it in a way where they can really open up to their level, maybe even stretch their level a bit and do it in a way where we've got it. Like we've got you, we've got the container, we've got the space. And yeah, I'm so thrilled that we're gonna be practicing this, and that not only that, but we talk about learning, right? If you're coming to learn, yes, you're gonna learn from the things that are on stage, but you also have an opportunity to learn how to hold an event like this, how to create that sense of safety and to feel what it's like to be in a room where you don't have to, second guess, is the container solid?
Love that. Love that. It's funny because it's one of my pet peeves. In like, I'm already doing the eyebrow thing. I know I do that when I get. There's a lot of people who use the word container and don't know where it came from. Right? Wilford Bion coined that term in his paper Container Contain. Right? And it's a whole theory that radically changed how behavioral health is even performed within the framework of the modern world. So holding a safe container literally is something that's, was started in the early 1900s, and people use this term. And I'm like, hey, have you ever read Bion? No. Why not? I don't know, right? Safe space has come to mean something to some people as a pop culture narrative. It just means, oh, I'll be comfortable. No, it means that we're creating an environment with which you feel safe enough to grow. You feel safe enough to transform. This is your chrysalis, right? This is your shell. This is your pot that you're going to grow in. This is where you take root. We are very serious about holding a safe container in a way that is meaningful to other people, not just not detrimental, right? And it's a big difference. So when we come into this space, I want not only people to be able to feel safe, but to be able to leave knowing how to hold their own safe container, right? Because the only safety that exists out there in the wild is the one that you create, especially for submissives, because when this is one of the things that you will surrender into someone's safe space. You will let go of your own container and move into someone else's, right? It's just like when people, are getting married, they leave their home and go into space with another person that they believe is safe, where they're going to start transforming and engaging in the rest of their life. Safe space is absolutely imperative for true growth and development. And I think that this is going to be something that they have an opportunity to engage in when they come out to this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. I talk about braver, safer spaces where triggers probably are going to come up. We're going to meet you in the edges. We're going to up level you. We're going to give you skill sets that, maybe feel uncomfortable or unfamiliar. And hopefully through the process, you're going to feel safely held by people who are actually certified. I think that's what sets this event apart from a lot of other events that I do in the Boulder area. The team that we have certifications in holding spaces, in sexuality, gender identity, expression, orientation. Like we have a very diverse team that is qualified to meet you in this space and hold you in this space as things arise, which is unusual. I think a lot of times in a lot of the spaces that I go to, these are people that play in the space, but they don't actually have education. They haven't have lived experience outside of this narrow window that they've grown to love and know. And I think all of us that are on the team have really been intentionally expanding our range and our capacity to be able to hold spaces like this for people to drop in and have an experience that's going to be transformational.
Yeah. And, being able to see people play in a spectrum of experience levels is also fun too. Like when you have people playing at the highest level and you have people coming into it at the lowest level, we really get to understand where we are in our own journey, right? It's like, are you closer to this end? Are you closer to that end, right? It really feels good to be in that space. Also, in my opinion, oftentimes what people do is they're only bringing in teachers that they're friends with. They're only bringing in teachers that they understand and they know, because again, they don't want to jeopardize their own position in the community. right? And so it's really important that we go outside of our little spaces and bring in practitioners from other places to bring in flavor. Right, it's almost incestuous at some point in time because we're just regurgitating the same information. We're just passing around the same DNA. No, we have to bring outside influences in that are going to shake it up a little bit. They're going to add to the genetic fitness of the information that we're passing on. Right. So to me, again, this is an opportunity for people to learn a different style, a different way. And here's one of the things, and I'm going to say this because I think everybody thinks that their state is the best. But I will tell you 100% that California, for over 4 decades, changed how sex, sexuality, and kink was done. Right. So there's a lot of people here playing at the highest levels. Every time I go back east, it's a variation, a different flavor, but we literally pioneer what sex looks like. And people are like, oh, Orpheus, that's not true. Kink.com is here. Most of the people who play at Kink.com are from Los Angeles, right? My mentor is the first person to do Florentine on camera, right? And we watch because people watch those videos start doing Florentine across the country. I did Fireplay, right? And now it goes across the country, right? We have people who are at such high levels in bondage that they're tying up a Lady Gaga at concerts on stage, and flying them around the ring and other people like that. I mean, we have a very different way of doing it, but Los Angeles, California specifically, just in general, is a mecca for kink. We have more dungeons here than anywhere else in the world. We have more play spaces here anywhere in the world, right? And so we have a different type of flavor of playing here, right? And so why not infuse some of that into your DNA, right? Bring a little bit of leave what you don't, like Bruce Lee. Takes what serves you, leave the rest, right? Let's be an Epicurean for a little bit, right? And try and get some of this thing that's been so foundational for so many years around the world. And yes, I will be wearing my Los Angeles hat when I come out.
You got to represent, huh?
Represent. And
So I want to ask a question of each of you, just kind of in closing. What is something you want every attendee of Kinkbound to walk away with?
radical self-expression, right? If nothing else, just feel free to be you, right? I really like when a person says that they can be more them, more dropped in, more connected because they have more avenues, more ways of expressing themselves. I think that to me is more than anything. When the rope is a conversation, when you develop flogging as a language, or when your spanking becomes a drum, when the sights and sounds, or when you become fluent in the sights and sounds, that's what I want a person to really drop into. As a matter of fact, little anecdote. Last night, I'm headlining a big event. I'm sitting backstage and I'm trying to decompress, but I keep hearing the people flogging and I'm counting their beats. Like, I'm like, oh, that person is doing 3 beat. This person is doing a 4 count. And I'm like, I can hear because I've been teaching this so long and I'm in such big groups that I can hear who's on, who's off. I know exactly this person's like cutting their in hand or their forehand stronger than their left because I'm like, I can't even decompress because it's just like, oh my God, I'm counting and I'm listening and I'm listening, right? It's like I already know what their flogging looks like because I can hear it, right? And so I want people to be able to develop their ear and their sensitivity and, and really cultivate an energetic narrative to know when something feels good, feels right for both the top and the bottom too. I want them to really be able to hear kink in a different way, see kink in a different way, experience kink in a different way, and to take that and to really translate that into something meaningful for them.
Love it.
So good. Yeah. So for me, it's a very similar vibe. It's full expression of self and allowing all of oneself to exist, right? And so I very intentionally created this container because I've been going to events where I can't fully express who I am. I have to hide a piece of me and I'm not able to actually explore what kind of capacity I have or what kind of range I have. And so one of the most fun things I've done in the last few years is like practice being a sub, practice being a dom, practice being a top, a bottom, right? And giving myself the ability to say, okay, maybe I want to try this out and see if it fits, see if a part of me is desiring this, is longing to come out through this experience. And so that's the whole reason why I'm hosting this event is to give people that space to allow all of themselves to be here and then to grow in whatever capacity feels right for them in that moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think if nothing else, people are going to not be in submission, but be in permission. Give themselves permission to grow and develop, permission to learn, permission to explore. Sometimes you just need permission to do that thing that you've been so scared to act on. And these are places where you get the opportunity, safe, non judgmental spaces where qualified professionals are here to really guide you into the next level, the next stage of your life. And that is what it means to come to this event.
So good. I think for me, I'll share mine. Something that I've been doing for years, and I'm really, really excited to contribute to a space where people are going to learn transmuting energy. And so being able, I see so many people, so many clients, friends even, who are shit, I've experienced this myself where, we live in a world where there's a lot going on and there can be a lot of stuck emotion, stuck energy. And understanding, learning the ability to take what is happening internally and transmute that into an expression, particularly through eroticism. That's what I'm most excited about with this. I mean, it's not something you can just read a book about either. It's something that you need to be in observation of, you need to learn, you need to experience yourself. It's experiential. And that's something that is absolutely going to be a part of this event. I mean, it couldn't not be the way that, Orpheus, the way you teach, and knowing Ace as well. That is even knowing Connie. Like that is something that I think is a common thread across all four of us is understanding the importance of being able to pull something through that you're experiencing and really that transmutation with intention into pleasure. So that's what I'm most excited about.
The transmutation. All right. I like it. I like it. This is going to be fun. I think this is going to be, I'm really excited about this.
It is going to be fun. I'm excited. I can't wait to see who's coming. So if you have caught this live or even just a portion of it and you want more information, you can reach out to any of us. If you're watching from my Facebook page right now, DM me. I'll give you the details or I'll connect you with someone on team if there's someone specifically you want to talk to. Come join us, come check it out, come experience something you've never experienced before or experience something you have experienced before, but in a completely new way.
No, love it. Love it.
All right. And with that, I'm going to close us up. Any last things anyone wants to say in closing before I hit the stop button?
No, I think that this was great. Again, I'm sorry for waking up late, but this has been wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. I hope my 4 hour sleep didn't inhibit my ability to communicate for you in the audience. I swear I'm much more articulate than this. But yes, yes, come and see this. I look forward to being. I'm rarely in Colorado. That's another thing. I'm rare. I go everywhere else. I'm rarely in Colorado. I've only been there twice in my life. And so please come out and see us. Please come out and welcome. And if nothing else, come out and shake my hand and give me a hug because I'd love to see you guys when I
Yes. Love it. All right. Thank you. See you soon.
see you soon.